Hey guys, it's Emily and I am so incredibly excited for today's video because I'm going to be reading my friend Meg's favorite books. Megan is known as Meg Reads here on BookTube and we've known each other for quite some time now. I don't know exactly when we started talking, but it's been at least a couple of years and I feel like Megan is like my best friend here. We have kind of the same taste, we talk quite often, and I just really enjoy her content. So if you guys are not subscribed to Meg already, I'll make sure to leave her channel linked down below. But today I thought we would do a little experiment and see how exactly, like how much does our taste align. So if I had to summarize Meg's reading taste, I would divide it into different categories. So number one, we have YA contemporaries. She doesn't read as much of those anymore, but I remember that back in the day, this was probably her favorite genre. Now she reads a lot of adult romances, which is the second category that we have here. And it's probably the genre that she reads the most of now, if I'm correct. Then number three, we have some middle grades. Megan and I both really love middle grades, and I feel like this is something that I had to include in this video. And number four is kind of a out there kind of situation, but I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. Megan reads some YA fantasies. Now, she doesn't read that much of them, but like one of her favorite books is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I know she also really enjoyed the Kingdom of the Wicked series by the same author, so I feel like I would have to mention those in order to like have a full idea of what her taste is like. So we're going to be dabbling into those categories for our TBR. So for the YA contemporary category, I have two books, the first one of which being Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. I feel like I had to include this book in this video because it's probably Meg's favorite book of all time. I don't know if it's her all-time favorite, but I know it's one of her favorites and she reads it every single year. I think she did a reread pretty recently, and so I had to give this one a try, especially as this copy was gifted to me by Meg herself, so I am quite excited to read it. Casey West tends to be a hit or miss author for me. I enjoyed her like older stuff, but I haven't enjoyed her most recent books as much, so hopefully this one will fall into the category that I like, but I guess we'll see. I also decided to include Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. I remember Meg talking about this book quite a bit when it first came out. Now, I don't know if it's still one of her favorites, but I remember her really enjoying it, so I thought I would give this one a try. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I know it includes some bookish element, as the title would suggest, and it is book 3 in the like Geekerella series by the same author, which I've read the first book of and I liked, but it wasn't a favorite read or anything. Like, it was pretty average for me, so I am curious to read this one. Now for the adult romance, I picked one that is one of Meg's most recent like favorites, and that's Not Pretending Anymore by Keelan and Penelope Ward. I've been meaning to get into this author's work, and I think Meg recently got into them, and she has read a couple and has really enjoyed every single thing that she's read from them, I think, so far. So I thought I would give this one a try. This is a fake dating situation and I think it involves a roommate, so some of my favorite tropes. I am really looking forward to that, and as I've said, this is an author duo that I've been meaning to give a try, so I'm really excited for this one. For the middle grade category, I picked one of Meg's favorite books of 2022, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. Now this is a book that I've been meaning myself to give a try for quite some time, ever since it came out basically. There's been some buzz around it and it's been compared a lot to Percy Jackson, which is one of my all-time favorite middle grade series, so I am very excited for this one. I cannot wait for my copy to get in, so hopefully we'll like it. I have really high hopes for this one, so I have a feeling that this is one that Meg and I will agree on. And the final book on my TBR is kind of a wild card. It's not necessarily something that I would have associated with Meg, but I know she liked it, so like I'm gonna add it, and that's Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Now I don't remember Meg talking about this book specifically, maybe she mentioned it in a wrap-up or something, but I remember very vividly her talking about Thunderhead, which is a sequel, and so I have to assume that if she liked the first book, well, if she liked the second book, that means that she has liked the first book as well. So that's why we're adding it, and I think she commented on my physical TBR video talking about this, if I'm correct. But I know quite a few of you guys actually commented saying that you really enjoyed this one on my physical TBR video, and this is just like the more reasons for me to read it. So I've been meaning to give this one a try for quite some time now, so I feel like this is just a perfect opportunity, and so we're gonna add it to the TBR and hope for the best. So that is it for my TBR for this video. Like I said, I am so incredibly excited to start reading all of these. I have a pretty good feeling about most of them. Some of them I'm a little bit more hesitant, but for the most part, I'm pretty hopeful that this is going to be a solid video, like that we're gonna have some really great reads. Like I said, Megan and I tend to have similar tastes in general, like we like the same books generally, even though we don't always agree on the rating. We similarly like and dislike the same books except for like a couple of exceptions. But yeah, I think I have to start with Meg's ultimate favorite book, which is Listen to Your Heart. So this is going to be the first book that we're going to be reading. Today I'm actually going to the Quartier des Trente, so it's like an hour and a half drive from where I live, and we're going to go shopping and everything. And so I'm going to bring this one with me to read in the car. I feel like this could be something that I would finish quite quickly because the font is pretty big and it's a white contemporary, so I usually fly through those. I don't really know what this one is about, aside from the fact that there's like a podcast involved. That's all I know, and I think that's it. Like, that's all I need to know. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. So we're gonna give this one a try, and I'll update you guys once I have made a little bit more progress. So it is the next day and I have so many updates for you guys. So let's start with the reading updates. I have made it to page 156 of Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. And so far, I am pleasantly surprised by how much I'm actually enjoying this one. I'll be honest, I dove into this book thinking that I wasn't gonna love it, that it was gonna be at most a 3 out of 5 stars because, as I've said before, I haven't had the best of luck with Casey West's most recent releases. So I thought this would be another one that I just didn't vibe with. But boy, was I wrong. So far, I'm having such a great time. I just love how funny this book is. I've laughed out loud several times, which never happens to me with Casey West's books. Like, I have never seen Casey West be funny in a book before. Might just be that it's been a while since I've read any of her work, but I don't remember her as being a funny author, so I'm really surprised by how funny this one is. I love the banter and like the chemistry between all of the characters. I also really love the podcast aspect of things. And yeah, overall, this is a great reading experience so far, and hopefully it will remain the same. Now, I also did a little bit of shopping yesterday. As you guys may have seen, I did go to the Quartier des Trente and we went to Indigo Chapters, and I also purchased some other things that I thought I would show you. So first I have this shirt that I'm wearing. Low-key obsessed with it, by the way. Really love it. But anyway, I got these face masks. So they're sheet masks that are like Friends branded. I don't know. They're from the brand Mad Beauty, but they are like Friends related and themed. So the first one is How You Doing? This one is a cucumber sheet mask. Then we have We Were on a Break. This one is an avocado face mask. And finally we have They Don't Know That We Know They Know We Know. And this one is a green tea mask. And I love sheet masks, so I just thought that this would be fun. And it was only 10 bucks. And when I saw that it was Friends related, I just had to get it, because if you didn't know, Friends is one of those TV shows that I absolutely love. So I'm just really glad to have this, and I'm hopefully going to be able to use one of them this week. So we'll try to do that. I also went to David's Tea and got myself a new tea assortment box. So I had a colleague at work that has a box like this, and I just thought that it was super smart, because usually David's Tea offers some loose leaf tea. Yeah, that's what it's called. So they're not necessarily like in little packets like this, but what I liked about this one is that it is little packets, so that you can bring them to the office if you want to, you can travel with them or whatever. And it's just easier for me to sample a lot of different flavors, because otherwise I would have had to buy like a big container of one flavor, and you never know if you're gonna like it or not. So I thought this was a good way of trying new flavors, and oh, it smells amazing. This one is the Sweet Indulgent, I guess, assortment. So And the box is super pretty too. Like I love the design, and it has 12 flavors. So I tried one yesterday. I tried the vanilla bean black. So it's a black tea, and it was so good. I really liked it. So hopefully we'll like all of the other flavors as well, but I'm very excited for this. And finally, like I said, we went to Indigo Chapters. I didn't purchase anything there because I knew I had some book mail coming in, and I do. I have actually already unboxed it, so I'm going to share with you guys the books that I got. First one of which being Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. So as I've mentioned before, I had ordered my copy in the mail and it finally came in today. So very excited for this. And ooh, look at this. I love me a good pretty book. So yeah, I'm very excited for this, like really pumped. And then I got this, which is The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. So this is Bridgerton book 2, I guess, in the series. And okay, so I watched the first 2 seasons of Bridgerton. I watched season 1 last year, watched season 2 when it came out in March, and low-key obsessed with it. I loved season 1, but I didn't feel the urge to pick up the books after I read the first, after I watched the first season. I was like, you know what, I'll just watch a TV show and I'll be done. Like I'll just watch that and have fun with it. But then I watched season 2, and to me it was even better than season 1. Like I liked it so much more. The vibe was different, and I know some people didn't like it. Personally, I loved it more. I love the characters, I love their chemistry, I love the angst and tension in the season. I just love everything about season 2. It was so good. I low-key want to rewatch it, but like I need to control myself because I already like binged the first, well, the second season in like a day. And it was a day of work. So like I finished my work at 4, started watching the show at 4, and finished it at 12 in the morning. So yeah, anyway, I have been low-key obsessed with season 2, so I have been wanting to read this book because a lot of people said that they didn't like season 2 as much as season 1. Some of them thought that this was not as good an adaptation as season 1 was, and it got me curious. I really want to see if I will like this, and it's kind of a way for me not to rewatch season 2 again and like to experience the story in like a different format. So I am quite looking forward to this. And yeah, low-key obsessed with Bridgerton. So that is it. That is all that I had to share in terms of updates. I feel like I had a couple of things to update you guys on. Now it's about 5 o'clock. I just got back from work. I went to the office today, which is why I'm dressed up. We had a new employee come in, so instead of like all working remotely, some of us went into the office and welcomed her properly as she was going to be in the office today. Now, usually I would go to the gym, especially as it's the beginning of the week. I want to start my week right, but Mondays are usually pretty busy at the gym, and seeing how beautiful the weather is outside, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna go on a walk instead. Like kind of do a little cardio session. I do walk like pretty fast, like a brisk speed, I guess. So I guess I can do that and just relax and clear my head and get some fresh air, and that'll be my workout. I don't really feel like changing and like putting on my gym clothes and whatnot. So let's just like go on a walk and enjoy ourselves. So I think I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be amazing. I can feel it already. So I don't know how to tell you this, but I think this is going to be a 5 stars. I know, right? What a surprise. I honestly, deep in my soul, was not expecting this. I've mentioned it mere hours ago, and yet this book has surprised me in a way that I honestly just wasn't expecting to be surprised. Is this what it feels like to be wrong? Because I would love to be wrong more often. I loved it. I loved how everything unfolded in the end, even with the whole like love fest situation, because it was a love triangle that turned into a love square at one point, and it was kind of a whole debacle. And usually I would not enjoy this kind of storyline, but I really loved this one. I just loved the characters. I loved how everything unfolded. I loved the podcast aspect of things. I loved the banter and like the wit. I really enjoyed it. I have nothing bad to say against it. I just really liked it, and I'm really surprised. Like, I cannot believe this, because as I said before, I didn't think that this would be possible for me, but I loved it. I'm so glad that I did because, as I have mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is Meg's favorite book, and I would have felt like a terrible friend if I had not at least liked her favorite book. Like, yes, it is possible that we disagree on some stuff, and it is a case with Stalking Jack the Ripper, for example. I hated that book, gave it a 1 star, wanted to be reimbursed, and Meg loved it. But I'm so glad that we agree on this one because, yeah, I loved it. It was so good. I'm looking at it and I'm like, how? How can such a book turn out this way? I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I really loved it. Like, I'm so glad that I did. And yeah, I guess I'm done. I'm so glad. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Now I need to pick my next read. I don't know exactly what I'm in the mood for yet. I do have quite a few options to choose from. Like, I have a sci-fi, I have a middle grade, I have another contemporary, and I have a romance. I don't know if I'm in the mood for another contemporary. I might want to wait before I read something else in the same genre, but I'm honestly not sure what else I want to read. I am in the mood to read. I just don't know exactly which book I would like to read because I do have like options. So I don't think I'm in the mood for this yet, so we might wait. I think it might be a pick between this one and this one. So I'll try to wrap my head around things. I might read the first chapter and decide on my next read. This is just such a great start to the video. Like, I'm just so excited to read everything else now because this was such a hit. So hopefully the rest of the TBR will hold up to my standards. And like, quite honestly, this is the one that I was the most afraid of. So I'm really glad that this went as well as it did. Anyway, I'll decide on my next read and I'll catch up with you guys once I have made my decision. I think I was in this exact same spot when I last filmed an update, but I guess we're here again. So I don't even think I told you guys what book I ended up picking up, but I did read Not Pretending Anymore by Vi Keelan and Penelope Ward, and unfortunately for me this was a 2 out of 5 stars. So I did like some of this. I think it started off really on the right foot for me. Like, it had everything that I would want in this type of book. So I loved the chemistry between our two protagonists. I really loved the male protagonist. I didn't care that much for the female lead. She didn't bother me or anything like that. I just didn't feel a connection to her. But I really didn't like where things were headed in the second half of the book. Like, the last 150 pages completely lost me. I lost interest entirely. And I feel like up until that point we were building up something, and I feel like he just really let me down in the end. So big trigger warnings for mental illness, well, mental health related topics, death of a loved one, terminal illnesses or sickness, specifically cancer. I just feel like we took a turn that I was not expecting at all, and I ended up like hate reading this. Like, at the end I just really hated where things went from here. I don't mind reading about those topics, but it was not what I was marketed, like what this book was marketed as. So I went into this with very different expectations, and it ended up being completely different from what I had anticipated. And I think this is why I ended up being let down, because I can see why Meg would like this. I mean, I had a dual perspective, and I know she really likes those, and she prefers her romances to be dual perspective, if I remember correctly. I also feel like it was missing some smut. Personally, I would have liked to have something a little bit more steamy. Like, there were moments where I was like, ooh, this is steamy, but there weren't. Like, there was maybe one actual scene and it was 2 pages long. Like, it wasn't really something. And I don't know why, I just thought that this would be a lot steamier, a lot more fun. And yeah, it just really didn't live up to my expectations, and maybe that's my own issue. But like I said, I do see like why Meg would like this, because I know she likes books that handle like mental health issues and whatnot. But yeah, I was not really expecting this when I picked this up, so that's why I'm really let down, and that's why I'm giving this a 2 out of 5 stars. So I've decided that my next read is going to be Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I'm kind of in the mood to switch things up a little bit. I do have another YA contemporary that I could read, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for that. And I feel like since I had such a one-hit wonder with the first book, I kind of want a change of pace, and I don't know, I'm kind of afraid that I'm not going to like Bookish and the Beast because I didn't love Geekerella, and that's that by the same author. So that's why I'm completely changing up the direction and I'm going to pick up Scythe. I don't know. I'm really excited to read this one because I've heard a lot of good things about this one, especially from you guys. So hopefully this is something that I'm also going to enjoy. I don't even know what this is really about. This is kind of like a dystopian or utopian, I never really know. But this is kind of sci-fi and I am very interested in this premise and I've heard nothing but good things about this book. So hopefully this is going to be another 5-star read for me. Alright, so I've just finished part 2 of Scythe by Neil Shusterman, so I'm now on page 174, so I'm a little bit under halfway through, and so I thought I would give you guys a reading update to let you guys know how I'm enjoying this one. So far I like it. The concept is very interesting. Basically, we live in a world where death is no longer an issue. We have resolved everything that we had to resolve regarding death, and now people can live forever. But in order to make sure that the population doesn't overgrow, you know, that we don't have too many people for the amount of resources that we have, they are Scythe that exists and they are in charge of administrating death, and so they get to choose who dies basically, and they are the ones that have to kill the people. Our two main characters, Citra and Rowan, are apprentices to this one Scythe, and they are learning the trade, so they're learning to become Scythe. And so far I've been really enjoying how the world building has been thought out. I think it's a very interesting concept and it makes you question a lot of things about like our current society and like just the moral aspect of it all. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying this. I really like the way that this is written, though I'll be honest, it's a little bit more of a slow-paced book so far, though in the last 50 pages or so it started to pick up, but so far it's been more so like world building. So everything that has happened thus far has been more so to explain to us how this world works. So it's been like informative, but there's not a lot of action going on so far, though like I said, it's sort of like, I think the tide is changing, so we will see from here if things become more interesting. I'm someone who likes their sci-fi and fantasy books to be a little bit more on the action side. I don't care so much about world building. Like, I do like it, but a book that is so lightly about world building and like character development, not so much my thing. So far I'm liking this, but it's not blowing me away because I feel like the action is just not there. It's not exactly what I want. So I have finished this freaking book and wow, I don't even know where to begin with this one. I feel like I have so much to say, but it would all be spoilers, so I'm gonna stay brief. But I really enjoyed this one. I don't really know what rating to give it, to be honest, because the ending had me by the throat. It would be a 5 out of 5 stars for that ending alone. However, I do feel like this book took its time, especially at the beginning. I felt a little bit confused. It was a little slow for me, but it really picked up in the second half of the book and I really enjoyed where things went. It really took me by surprise. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, especially in the like parts 3, 4, and 5. And yeah, as a whole, like I really enjoyed it. I think 4.5 would be an accurate rating for this. I'm really happy that I liked it. I think a lot of you guys were hoping that I would like it, and I'm really curious to continue the series because I've heard that the sequel is even better. However, I have heard that the third book is kind of a letdown, but we'll hope that I'll still enjoy it. But I'm definitely gonna pick up the sequel now. I'm so intrigued by this turn of events and I cannot wait to continue on the series. I feel like this could be a satisfying ending on its own, but it does have some loose ends, so like I'm glad that there's a sequel. But yeah, I'm really curious to see where the story will go from here. I hope Neil Shusterman is going to just expand this world and give us more information about how it works, because it is a very complex world and like we've gotten a lot of information in this first book, but I feel like depending on where things go from here, there's so much more to explore. So I am really curious, and as a whole I'm really glad that I finally picked up this one. It's been on my shelves for a while, so I'm really glad that I finally read it. I completely understand the hype and I am excited to move on to the sequel. Now the next book that I'm going to be reading is Boucher and the Beast by Ashley Poston. I am in the mood for something short and sweet and I feel like this is going to be just that. Also, I kind of want to keep my only 5-star like prediction for this video, which was Omari and the Night Brothers, for the very end to see how I feel about this one, because this is one that I have really high hopes for, and also I'm just in the mood for a change of pace. So I think Boucher and the Beast is going to be perfect. So all that I know about this one is that it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It includes some fandom elements. It's a third book in the Once Upon a Con series. I think it's kind of an enemies to lovers situation, and it involves a library of some sort. So I'm excited, and let's see where it takes us. Alright, so time for an update. I did finish reading Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston like 2 nights ago, but life has been so crazy in the past couple of days that I just haven't had the time to sit down and film this update. So the reason why I'm wearing so much makeup today is that we were getting our picture taken at the office today. They hired a professional makeup artist to do our makeup so that it would look good on camera, and this is what mine looks like. Like, it's been a couple of hours since it's been done, and like with my mask and everything, obviously kind of rubbed off a bit, but it looked so good on camera. I saw the result and I was just amazed by how great I looked in the pictures. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out, but this is why I look like this, which is not usual for me. Anyway, let's talk about the book. So I ended up being pleasantly surprised by Bookish and the Beast. I wasn't expecting to love this one nearly as much as I did. I thought diving into it that this might be at most a 3 out of 5 stars. I had pretty low expectations diving into it because I was disappointed by Geekerella, but I think that kind of played to my advantage in this one because I ended up really having fun with this one. I really liked the parallels between Beauty and the Beast and this story. I just really liked and appreciated how Ashley Poston was able to take the Beauty and the Beast story and turn it into like a contemporary one. I just really liked how it was done. So well executed. I really liked all of the little nudges. I smiled, I laughed. I really appreciated that for what it was. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorite stories, and so this retelling did it justice in my opinion. It was a really fun one. It did take me a while to get to appreciate and like love the characters, and even in the end I didn't feel that connected to them, but I still really enjoyed their story, and I just really love what the author did with this one. I also like the fact that this was really like book centric. Basically throughout the entire story they're building or kind of rebuilding, or I don't know what the right wording for that is, but they were working in this library inside of this castle, which was like kind of a big mansion. And yeah, I just really liked the way the story turned out to be. I liked how diverse it was. It included a lot of queer and non-binary characters. We had a really wide array of characters, different personalities as well, and I just really liked how everything turned out in the end. It was a nice, fun, engaging, entertaining story, and I think if I'm learning anything in this vlog is that I need to start trusting Meg more when it comes to YA Contemporary recommendations. I mean, so far, both of her book recommendations for the YA Contemporaries, I have given over 4 out of 5 stars, so I think I just need to read more of those. I also kind of miss reading YA Contemporaries. I've been reading a lot of like adult stuff as of late, and I haven't read a good YA Contemporary in a while, and I feel like this vlog just reignited my love for YA Contemporary, so I'm really happy about that. I guess my next and like last book for this vlog is going to be Amore and the Night Brothers, which I'm very excited about because it is the 1 5-star prediction that I had for this vlog, and I am very excited. I've been meaning to read this book for quite some time. Ever since it came out, I've heard so much hype surrounding it, and now I just really am excited to read it. So hopefully it will live up to my expectations. I'm trying not to put them too high because otherwise I might end up being slightly let down, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a new favorite, so hopefully I will be right. Hello. So I feel like I've been doing a very terrible job at vlogging as of late. I apologize for that. Hopefully this vlog is not too scattered. I feel like my brain is scattered right now, which is why I feel like it is reflecting in this vlog. But anyway, I slept terribly last night, so I'm not feeling the best right now. It is kind of late. It's like, what, 7:45 p.m. But I did manage to read the first half of Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. So far, my thoughts are mixed, I'd say. I thought the beginning was a little bit choppy, I'm not gonna lie. Like the first 100 pages or so, I felt like we were jumping around very quickly, but given how we needed to get to this new world and everything, I understand where that was coming from, but I just felt like we're really going at it. Like I just felt like it was a little too quick for my own taste. But now that we're halfway through, I am liking the pacing, and I think we have a good arc going on. Like I have a feeling that it's going to be an interesting like mystery that we're trying to unsolve. Basically, to give you a little bit more context, this book is about Amari, and Amari gets this weird package in the mail one day. It basically tells her to go to this address. Little does she know that she gets entered into this weird like secretive society thing. It's not a really society thing, but like this secret school, if you may. She's also trying to find her brother who used to go to this like summer camp thing, and so there's like a mystery unfolding at the same time because Amari is looking for her brother, but she's also coming into her own powers because yes, she has supernatural powers. I feel like I'm doing a very terrible job at explaining this book, but that's just to give you a little bit more context. Obviously the book will be linked down below, so if you guys want to check it out properly, I would recommend reading the real synopsis rather than trying to understand what the book is about from my very bad explanation. Anyway, I am liking this, but not as much as I thought I would, and I don't know if it's because I'm not truly connecting with the characters. Like I like the characters that we have going on, I just don't feel connected to them the way that I sometimes do with middle grade. Like if I take Nevermore, for example, I got an instant connection with Morgan. And even like if we take Percy Jackson, which is, this book has been compared to that, this is another one where I connected to the characters right away. And in this one, I'm starting to forge a connection with some of the characters, but it's taking me more time. And I don't know if it's because like it's a new world, it's a new series that is going to be like developing, so obviously it may take some time, but since I'm comparing it to like some of my all-time favorite middle grades, I feel like it's taking me a little bit less time, and I did really have high expectations diving into this. You guys know that I was predicting for this to be a 5-star. So far I think it's not necessarily on track to be a 5 stars. It might be more of a 4-star situation. Like it's good, I like the world building, I like where we're going, I like the storyline, and I think like this world has so much to offer and we're only scratching the surface. But yeah, it's just not the instant 5-star new favorite thing that I had in mind with this book, but still, like, don't get me wrong, I'm having a lot of fun reading this. I just don't feel myself feeling the need to pick it up. I am having a good time reading this, but it's not like with some of those other books where I just couldn't put the book down. This one is a fun story. I'm liking everything that's going on, but I can't put my finger on what it is, but it's just not exactly what I thought it would be, I guess. Or, I don't know, there's just like a blockage somewhere with me in this book, but it's probably going to be like a 4 or 4.5 stars. So like it's good. Like I have a feeling that things are going to get much more interesting moving forward, because obviously there's a lot of world building happening because we're exploring a brand new world. Like Amari is learning all of these things and we're learning right alongside her. But yeah, so far I'm having a good time, and I guess I'm going to try to finish this one. I think I could possibly read quite some more tonight because I don't really have any other plans this weekend. So we're going to be attempting to read this book, finish it probably tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated either way. Alright, so it's been like a week since I filmed anything for this video. It's been a week since I finished Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, and I'll be honest, I feel like I've forgotten everything that I wanted to say, but this is a 4 out of 5 stars and I really liked it. I overall feel like this is a strong beginning to a series. I'm excited to see where things will go from here. The second half of the book really picked up in terms of the plot. I had a lot of fun reading the story that Amari felt herself, I guess, thrown in, and I just really liked where things went. The ending really took me by surprise. Like I gasped out loud at the end. I was not expecting that turn of events, and I'm excited to see where things will go from here, because I have a feeling that this is a series that has the potential to become a new favorite series. But this first book isn't a 5 stars the way that I thought it would be, but maybe if I reread it when I have read more of the books in the series, maybe this could become a 5-star read, I don't know. But yeah, overall this was fun. Would really recommend if you're looking for a new middle grade series to pick up. I feel like this one is going to be very fun, and the second book is coming out, I believe, this fall or like end of summer, so there's that to look forward to. And yeah, so I guess this wraps up this little reading experiment. I had so much fun filming this, and I feel like this put me out of a reading slump because I've been kind of on and off with my reading slump this year. It's followed me around once again. I feel like I've been very on and off with reading, and that video, like the books that I read for this vlog, just made me fall back in love with reading, and I'm excited about that. And overall, I think we can say that Meg and I have very similar reading tastes, and if you like my content, I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy her content because I do get a lot of recommendations from her, and this video just solidified that I can trust Meg when it comes to book recommendations. So I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!